free Golden Eagles for War Thunder. Download the app in the description below. Hey guys, welcome back to War Thunder and welcome to the American Air Blitz Tournament 1 vs 1 Gladiator Duels in the P-63A-5 King Cobra. I'm not going to be going into details on how to actually go and register for these duels. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I will drop a link in chat to the War Thunder TSS website. It's the official website for tournaments. All you have to do is log into your War Thunder account, join whichever tournament you want. There's a plethora of tournaments every single week. Usually they are announced on Thursdays. They're played in all of the game modes: aircraft, tanks, 1v1s, 2v2s, 4v4s, occasional 5v5 and 7 vs 7s. You just make a team, register, invite your teammates if it's a multiple tournament. If it's a single tournament, just confirm your team participation, that's it. I do recommend you do read the actual rules, at least the first time that you go into one of these duels, just to have a bit of an idea how it's going to go. But I think through the duration of the video, you'll probably figure out how these things go. Now, to give you a bit of a background, the American Air Blitz Tournament is the one that I like doing the most. It's held on Saturday evenings, my time, and it usually is between, well, 10 PM CET, which is when I finish my stream, and sometime between 3 and 4 in the morning. So it is a little bit annoying to catch, but the reason I like these tournaments is because I can crack open a cold one, be a little bit intoxicated, and have a pretty relaxed time when actually dueling. I'm not too stressed about it, and I can go around my tactic a little bit more, relaxed, leisureful. Now, the P-63A Cobra is an aircraft I really fancy, and coincidentally is the first tournament that I ever played. That's what I started with, and my first tournament was 6th place. So 6th place out of, I think at the time, like 50 participants was a very, very nice result for me. This time around, obviously with the American tournament, less people tend to apply, and I've been trying to grind out the titles. That's the purpose behind it. The rewards for this particular tournament and all the other 1v1 aircraft is a title, 1v1 Master Duelist, that I already had because I won the Meteor F Mark III tournament. There's 500 Golden Eagles for first in place, 200 Golden Eagles for second, 300 Golden Eagles for second in place, and then 50% RP and Silver Lion boosters for third and fifth place. Now, for me, the reason why I keep joining this tournament is because there's a hidden title in the game called Duelist Hero, and Duelist Hero is unlocked by, I believe, getting 5 or more wins in tournaments. So I had 1, and I want to get, additional 4. This is important because it's going to dictate how the final of this particular tournament is going to play. But for now, we're going to jump into the quarterfinal. In the quarterfinal, I fought my first serious opponent of the tournament because the way this tournament is structured is first a group stage. In the group stage, certain players get eliminated. Usually in the group stage, if you get a lucky RNG stroke, you'll get a mediocre average players. In the first playoffs, usually you also get average players if you won the first group stage. Really, the more tournaments you play, the more you start to realize how it really goes. But my only primary complaint for tournaments is that there is no ranking system in place at the moment, which means that you can have a very likely, very easy way to the finals, or you can have a very tough one. Personally, I want to get the tough way to the final. I believe that losing to a good opponent is far better to learn how to play the tournament than winning against a mediocre opponent. So the main opponent that I fought against in the quarterfinals was Prince of Voguing from the TYT clan, and I actually received a PM from his previous opponent who lost, saying that he's pulling head-ons. Now, head-ons are something that most people who tend to do these tournaments don't appreciate. We don't like them, and it's because it drags out the time. It doesn't really contribute to any kind of skill, which is what I think tournaments should be about. It's about controlling your flaps, controlling your throttle, controlling your energy. The head-on tactic is usually used by people who lack the ability to do proper energy fighting. They feel uncomfortable with the plane they're flying. It's a trade-off. Now with me, I like to adapt. I think that if you take, a disadvantageous position and try to turn it around, is the best that you can do. So for me, there's 2 ways I can fight this. Either I can force head-ons myself, and I did try that, or I can try to go and force an energy fight. So we're going to see how that goes, but in general, the easiest way to counter a person, I think, still is to play and beat them at their own game.
I know you look the other way. I know you long for something new. So that you're wasting all your days looking for something that is right in front of you. Just want them to notice you. And I'll never let go of you. There's something flying in the air, and I just don't know what it could be. The smoke is flying everywhere. I'm getting the feeling it's the end for you and me. And I know that we might be through, but I'll never let go of you. I'll never let go of you.
So progressing through the semi-finals, this was going to be one of the easier fights of the tournament, fighting against a PlayStation 4 player who actually I think knows me, set a few highs before we started the match. Now, I didn't have to have an expectation. Usually for me, what I use as a, this is going to be funny for some people, but what I use as a ranking system for how good the player is going to be is usually their name. Most people who have really good names, you know, tend to also be really good at duels. I know how funny that sounds, but it tends to be the case. But it's not always the case, and you can get screwed over by a person like Clone 675379, because they're actually hiding behind a very, very good account. Now, the opponent that I fought here wasn't too much of a struggle. I primarily just used a energy trap mechanic, tried to do a bit of stall fighting. It was also good because I was able to see how the P-63 performs at low speeds compared to at high speeds. And let's just say it's not the best at low speeds, and you'll have to use a lot of flaps to make it work.
So that you're wasting all your day looking for something that is right in front of you. And I just want them to notice you.
And there we go, we're in the finals of the 1v1 tournament. However, with my opponent being Uki, and we have to wait 1 hour before the match starts, I already kind of gave up my hopes. This player is better than me. I can't beat him. I know that I can't beat him, and in the 1 hour that I've got, there's not even any practice that I can do to beat him. But then I received the PM. And I received the PM from Uki himself, and he said, congratulations on the win. He gifted me a free win in the tournament. Now, this is something that you could probably debate, whether it's fair or not fair, but there's one factual bit of information. Uki would be throwing away a title. And that's because what we're going off after here is not the 1v1 Master Duelist. I have the 1v1 Master Duelist. I won the METF Mark III tournament on the 27th of August. Uki already has the Duelist Hero title. He's already gotten the 1v1 Master Duelist several times. Now, if Uki wins, sure, he'll get the, Golden Eagles, he'll get the Premium Timer, he'll get the boosters, but he won't be putting that title into any worth. There's nothing that that title contributes to. If he lets me win, though, that's one less tournament that I have to go through into the finals in order to actually win. And this is something that I love about the War Thunder community in these tournaments, is because there's mutual respect between players. You know very, very quickly who's better and who's not. And when I went to actually duel Uki for that entire hour that we had to wait for the final to happen, we just opened up a custom battle, we set the respawns to infinite. This is what we usually do for trying to, say, duel on stream. This has the same tournament rules, the same maps as the actual finals do. The only difference is that, once one gets shot down, we just both bail out, the tickets get as a draw, and we can just continue playing infinitely. And as we played, as we practiced, as we were chatting in chat, we weren't playing serious, but we were, doing a bit of a practice run, if nothing else. I immediately confirmed my already, set predicament. I wouldn't be able to beat him, and I wasn't able to. We played probably a dozen matches or so, perhaps even 20, 25. It wasn't until the very last few that I started coming out on top. It was because it took me probably 15 games, 15 losses, before I finally realized what he was doing that was ending up in me getting defeated. And this is a combined result of player fatigue, because these tournaments take between 3, 4, and 5 hours to complete. Certain tournaments drag out for several days. Obviously, every player is different in the way they play, in the tactics they use. Every plane is different in the way that you're going to be flying it. Some planes like turning at high speed, some planes like turning at low speeds, and this is something you have to learn on the get-go. And the thing that usually kills me in tournaments is that in the group stage of the competition, I fight mediocre opponents. I don't have a stressful duel, which means I can't really stress the aircraft out, and when I do finally face against a very good opponent, I'm lacking those kind of plane designated skills that defy how well you'll be able to play in that particular tournament. But that's one of the charms of these 1v1 duels. You have, different planes each week, you have different time zones, you have different players you'll be going up against. And at the end of the day, I have to give a massive shout out to Zerba and everybody else who's working on the TSS website at the moment. Just over the past few months, this website came a very, very far way. I would love to see more tournaments displayed. I'd love to see this integrated into the actual game, and I'd love to see some type of a ranked mode developed sooner or later to obviously differentiate the good players from the bad and create some type of a mini league of its own. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the video very, very shortly. Cheers.